Alrighty, as promised, and as I solemnly swore, I am going to give my real talk on some real shit, my real thoughts on the Raja Jackson situation, alright? I briefly glossed over it on my Kick video when I talked about Kick and I destroyed them. Literally, I said this website is the biggest human piece of shit walking God's green earth because it is. With what they allow on that platform, with allowing minors to basically get FaceTime with these one-on-one manipulative pieces of shit streamers to get them to self-harm or hurt themselves or try to groom them and corrupt their minds. This is what y'all allow on this platform? That's the first thing that comes to my mind, right? Then there's the violence. A guy getting beaten to death on live stream and nothing being done about it whatsoever, and then the streamer dies. More violence. People getting hoses like sprinkled on them and folks think it's a joke. These are the type of Arkham Asylum streamers that infest Kick, and I want no part of it. I said I'm never ever signing up for that platform ever again. I will not be supporting it. I will stay far away from it. This is how I feel about that piece of shit, and everything I hear is external third-party material. Something called Chickens, or his name, he made a video on the Predators, and the contents of those videos that have been exposed is downright disgusting. These people are disgusting. These predators are disgusting, and they deserve to have a holy haymaker. I don't care. It is fucked up, and they need to alter their policies to protect others watching this shit and not have them rage bait and egg people on to eventual unalivings. And they think it's a joke, right? It's a big joke to some of these people. It's not because it's fucked up. That's why I condemn the website wholeheartedly, 100%. And Raja Jackson was just a part of the equation. Just to put it into perspective, I'm gonna try to piece together the timeline of events the best that I can and talk about them. Raja Jackson is the son of Rampage Jackson. If you are familiar with MMA, then you may know Rampage, right? He was out here wilding out. I think the gif of the UFC fighter breaking the door, I think that's Rampage. And he was wilding out doing a bunch of crazy shit when he was younger. It was crazy, but he was known as a legend, a fighter in MMA. So he had a son. His son went to this wrestling event that he was invited to by some guy called AJ Mana. He's wearing the cowboy hat in some of the video footage that was leaked out. And as a sidebar, it's so funny that Raja's friend was like recording all this shit, his coach or whatever that took him, and he was literally incriminating himself on camera with all this premeditation. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna beat this wrestler up, all that other stuff, but let me get to the rest of the context. Raja goes to this event, and in the beginning of the stream on his side, he says he's fucked up. His head is all flurry from a concussion, and automatically that means, oh, it should be time to stay at home. I'm all fucked up. I'm not in the right headspace at all, right? But no, instead of doing medical care, self-care, he decides to go to a wrestling event that someone invites him to, and he's already not in the right frame of mind. He goes there to a parking lot, and there's a lot of wrestlers like out there drinking and just lounging about and having a good time. Then there's a situation where Syko Stu comes up, and he's a persona. He's in character. All right. Now, this is the one time I'm going to defend Raja Jackson only on this point alone. We all know wrestling is a work, it's fiction, it's a fictional play. I understand that. I love wrestling though. I love pro wrestling. I'm a big fan. I've been watching since the Attitude Era. That's what got me into wrestling hardcore at the time. WWF Attitude, all those games, No Mercy. Yeah, I was a big wrestling fan on the height of like Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, all their feuds when Kurt Angle came in. It was a fun time. The invasion of corporation factions, the Monday Night Wars. I saw it all when I was a kid. WCW versus WWF, it was crazy. Vince McMahon as a crazy character who wore a do-rag, okay? I was there for all of that shit. And I personally loved it. I love the theatrics of pro wrestling. I understand when someone does something and it's fake. But there should have been some information that choreographed first that Raja is in on the play, because he's there and he doesn't know what's going on, what is happening, and then he turns around and automatically there's this guy Syko Stu, and he says, "You don't know me, I'm Syko Stu." Smacks him up the head with a beer can. Now, beer cans, in my honest opinion, unless it's like really hard with malicious intent, that shit's gonna hurt, right? Should he have smacked him in the head knowing full well what we know, where this guy has a concussion? No. And he did it without the guy knowing so. He didn't know a thing about what was going on. He just got a can to the head in this context. If Raja turned around and smacked him, I would have said, okay, that totally makes sense. Syko Stu should have had the forethought, and I do blame that on alcohol and just the lack of forethought and everything. He should have had the forethought to at least talk about this situation, or make an angle out of it on the sidelines or something like that. He saw the camera, he assumed, and he did what he did, which would have warranted a punch to the mouth. And if this basically happened at this point in time, Raja would have been a lot more justified in his response. Maybe not trying to kill the guy, but a punch to the mouth for an unprovoked can to the head, that makes total sense, right? Fair enough. There wouldn't be no videos, there wouldn't be no controversy if that happened, but that's not what happened. After this point in time, this is where my sort of morality starts to lean to Syko Stu. Raja's flaming pissed. At this point, I still get it. He's mad. He's like, I will fuck you up. He's super pissed. It makes sense after this point, showing he's serious. Then, like, some guys got in between them, say, hold on, this dude's not a worker. Calm the fuck down. I don't know why AJ Mana didn't explain this in the first place, but he explained it after the can went to the head. But still, he's not a fucking worker. Everyone tells everyone, chill out, we don't want trouble. I get that bit. Then Syko Stu raises his hand to shake Raja Jackson's hand, trying to say that, I didn't know, I'm gravely sorry. And Raja doesn't accept the apology at first, but he does later when he realizes, I can get my lick back, I can get my receipt back, and this was coordinated by some of the people who was working there. Like, the people at Nox Pro, they allowed this. AJ Mana basically said, go get your receipt, go get him back. They allowed this to happen, and I think this is when the cogs started to turn in Raja's head. This is where I can get an ample amount of revenge here. That's when he shakes Stu's hand 3 fucking times. So you accepted the apology at this point. The apology is accepted. We're both men. We move on. Everything's fine. Hunky-dory. Water under the bridge, right? You accepted the apology and resolved the issue. And now you're in on this run-in that's going to happen later on in the ring, which led to this event. So it's not only Raja Jackson involved, it's also the people at Nox Pro as well, who basically allowed this to go on. The guy in the cowboy hat makes it worse. There's definitely a severe miscommunication here at this point, where he tells Raja, you know what a receipt is, right? Raja knows what a receipt is, but he has other nefarious ulterior motives in play. It's like, get your fucking lick back, go hit him, go get a receipt. Receipts in the wrestling world usually means that someone will hit you, and it could be a stiff shot by accident or something that's completely like, on purpose, intentional sometimes. It could be a variety of things. Either way, it's a stiff shot. It's something that you do where you either sandbag somebody, you hurt somebody, or you hit somebody way too hard, you know, and you didn't mean it, but then they tap you on your shoulder and say, okay, it's fine, your receipt is coming. And that means the other person is going to give you a stiff shot, or something to that magnitude to show you that, hey, you can't be super unsafe. You gotta be more careful than that. It's something that has happened in the wrestling world since the dawn of time. A receipt does not mean go into the fucking arena and beat someone within an inch of their life, which is what Raja had in mind. And he was sitting there on kick saying how he's gonna hit this guy for real and all this other shit. 50 subs to hit him, to annihilate him, to destroy him. I'm actually gonna hit him for real. And the precursor to this is the chat calling him a pussy. And another precursor is the growing up with Rampage Jackson, and there's some fault at play. This was a deep-seated issue that was allowed to get into the arena. And there was people that said there was going to be this sort of planned spot, and they alerted other wrestlers, like the guy, I think his name is Doug. Doug is the pink-haired wrestler who came in and saved Stu's life. They already knew something was amiss by having Raja be part of the angle. Why would you let him be part of the angle in the first place if you realized something was wrong? That's my issue. It's like, you guys knew, you had radios to contact Doug. Why even let him into the ring in the first place? Why not just pull Raja to the side and say, look, we think something's up. You can't be here. We had second guessing in play, but I don't think this situation is, no, you can't do it, because they already are thinking something is wrong. And then you just hear Raja in the crowd loudly. His friend is recording this shit the whole time, saying 50 subs to hit him. They are rage baiting him. He's getting more and more angry and frustrated. And remember when I said Rampage Jackson was also someone contributing to the daddy issues that Raja has? I saw a podcast where Rampage Jackson just like treats his son like shit. Okay. He is one of those hyper masculine fathers. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're a pussy. It's one of those things where it's very, very bad parenting. I think there was an issue with him and Raja, and they were fighting, and it's like justified if Raja hit him first. And then Rampage like put him in a guillotine, and he had him in a guillotine for a while, and he's like, you know, tap or I'll kill you and shit like that. But the problem with this is, while Rampage is justified in doing that, if his son hit him, you're airing this past grievance and situation out to millions of people on a radio show. Is it that gonna, like, isn't that embarrassing? Like, just imagine being a son in that situation where your father is like airing you out in front of random strangers you don't know on the radio, and the situation has been long resolved. That's toxic. Right? That's toxic parenting. I saw one video title that labeled it best, where they said Rampage failed his son. He said it himself, that I sent my Asian kids or Asian foster kids, or I don't know, I just know he had Japanese children. I sent them to college, whereas Raja, I'm going to pay out his bail money, showing that I really don't have way too much confidence in my son's future to begin with. It all was boiling up, building up like a smelting pot. What we have is a lost person that's ready to explode, where his father failed him and he failed himself with his actions. Like, everyone mostly involved in the situation in the most negative connotation is at fault to some capacity. Nox Pro for letting it go on, for letting him in. Raja himself for getting gassed up by strangers on the fucking internet. Rampage for how he treated his son. Every factor involved here made a recipe for a disaster. And once Raja had enough, once the chat baited him, by the way, fuck the chat as well, fuck Raja as well. All right, I'm saying fuck everybody. Fuck Nox Pro. Raja gets into the ring, grabs Syko Stu, who again trusted him with his body in a wrestling spot, thinking it was going to be a routine wrestling spot, but no. He picks him up and he does what is essentially a very, very hard Alabama slam. I'm talking, as soon as I saw it, I was like, head right into the back of the mat. Hard. And I would imagine, someone said before, those wrestling rings are no fucking joke. When people are dumped on their back and their head, it hurts. I think that's where the first knockout comes here, because Stu did not put his hands up to defend himself. I think he was out like a light on Dream Street. Hello, there's nobody home. And then what Raja proceeds to do is he mounts Stu into a position and he punches his skull nearly upwards to about 21 times. 21, 22, but it's a large amount. Everyone in the ring is mostly standing around like chicken shits. There was also, from what I heard, a 17-year-old in the ring trying to break it up, and a 17-year-old in the ring, I'm not sure why to begin with, but this could have gone a lot worse if Raja was like in this blind rage and turned around and punched like a 17-year-old. Like, holy shit, dude. At least he tried to stop him in some capacity. He tried to grab his shoulder. It didn't work. The referee standing around like, oh, what the fuck's going on? He's like, he's waving the signal. Raja's not stopping. It's like, why not just try to get in between, put yourself in between, stop the damage. You saw 21 something punches. And I saw someone saying it's just the ref's job, which is why he counted the 3 when Syko Stu was like a bloody mess, because he didn't want to get fired. I think Nox Pro is just completely done in terms of recognition, right? It's never going to be looked at the same again, no matter who's there or who's fired or whatever. That promotion is going to have the biggest blemish you have ever seen for allowing this to happen in the first place, because we have a full-on, attempted murder investigation going on right here. WWE removed their brand ID as well. I'm talking, this is some serious stuff, baby. A man almost died in the ring due to a premeditated attack where he gravely apologized for it. We're long past like, oh, just hit him when he hits you with the can and it's justified. It's no longer justified when this person is full on unconscious and you are wailing the fuck away like a wild animal. An animal. This is an uncaged animal at this rate. He knew what he was doing. He was doing it all for fucking shameless internet clout. And this is by far one of the more sickening displays of inhuman violence I have seen in a while in the wrestling ring, ever since New Jack like stabbed someone for real. That stuff has no place in the business. This is for entertainment. These people, we have to put some sort of barrier between them and the performer, because shit like this, I have a strong feeling someone else is going to try to emulate this, given our internet society and how people want to be the next fucking clout chaser. I do think that people need to be aware now at these indie shows. I know it's not a lot, but have someone at least watching the sidelines to prevent this shit from happening again. I am with the criticism of people saying, why the fuck would the ref count to 3 on what is essentially a dying man having breathing issues, choking on his own blood and teeth, and you see it clearly. This is not a work. This is not a joke. And you got to keep the theatrics in play. Why? They canceled the event right after this. There is no reason. Everyone's going home. Why? Why keep up the facade? And why pin them? That makes you look even worse. That makes you look like shit. Like, why the fuck would you do that? This is a mud show through and through, just like Jim Cornette would say, a full-on absolute mud show. But not everyone is to blame. I do think there's good people at Nox Pro that stepped in, like, the kid trying to stop him, like Doug coming into the ring. I think he came into the ring and he saved Syko Stu, because if he did not, then Raja would have killed him. Point blank, period. Again, Raja Jackson is a disgusting fucking blemish. And I know Rampage was like saying he was getting death threats and racism and all that, and people turning it into that. I don't think that's the way to go. If people are entertaining that business, I have to thoroughly disagree with that behavior. What should be said to Rampage is, you need to be a better fucking father. That's what needs to be said. You need to be a better parent, because you putting your son out there and destroying him on social media and trying to say, this is how I'm gonna toughen you up, was not the right way to go. Why not teach discipline? Why not teach your son how to be stoic and diffuse situations and be respectful and be courteous and learn the true path of being a man and uplifting others? But no, you just put in all this stupid bullshit, calling your son homosexual words and slurs and shit like that, and once again making him more and more angry and upset. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. And that's the general gist of the situation. There was, again, once you see the end of the stream where Raja is on the street, it's like, I'm tired of people fucking with me. You could tell this was a powder keg, and the struck match was this whole situation. Nox Pro then comes out and they tell people, because later the wrestler who saved Raja did interviews and talked about it, and there was a leak of text messages from Nox Pro saying, don't talk to the police if they are in this investigation, let's just ignore it, let's sweep it under the rug. Fuck you. All right. Fuck you. Whoever that manager was that sent that text message and all the people that agree with it, fuck you. Because you are hampering the investigation with what you've seen, and you're just denying it, and you're just as bad as everyone in that group chat. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be completely ashamed of your actions. Instead of aiding the LAPD, you decide to say, well, I'm gonna do what my manager tells me what to do, and my friend who was in the ring, an Army veteran for the longest time, I'm just gonna cover that up because I'm a giant stinky piece of shit. Morally reprehensible behavior from Nox Pro. At first I felt kind of bad for them without that context of that text message. At first I felt bad for them. I'm like, damn, they lost their license. And you could blame AJ Mana because his response was fucking stupid, running around screaming the N-word, not making his case any more valid because you were involved, period, right? Instead of like apologizing, being more sympathetic, you just proved that you're a loudmouth piece of garbage. But now it's like, you're seeing that everyone involved in that text message saying, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, I will not open my mouth, I will basically be quiet the whole time, even if I was a front row seat witness. Go fuck yourself. Fuck yourself with a piece of dynamite and light the fuse, just like a fucking what is it, the Looney Tunes cartoon. Yeah, do that. Press the fucking fuse, because that is ridiculous, brother. That's crazy. So WWE, they pilled out. They're like, yeah, this is a liability to us. There's gonna be definitely some suing and some damages. We don't want no part of this. Look at this reputation here. Slinging a mud show. We out. Don't blame them. Don't blame Triple H 1 second. No, I don't. And then after the fact, there was some good. There was indeed some good that was raised. Syko Stu had a charity. I'm gonna put it on stream for you guys for this image. I donated. Every little bit helps. I'm completely on Stu's side in this, except for the initial can smashing of the head. But again, we saw he was deeply apologetic. Situation was over. I'm not gonna do it again. And then it led to this heinous attack or whatever. Like, come on, bro. All of this stuff was so unnecessary from the side of Raja. Do I think that Raja is gonna get prison? He should. 100%. I don't even think that. I don't know. It's an ongoing investigation, so maybe they're gonna talk to him last. And that's what I presume and assume. They're gonna get all the things they needed. But then again, Raja and his fucking friend and his camera crew, they're so stupid that they recorded every single word. It's like they wanted this dude to be incriminated so bad, and he himself incriminates himself by saying all this shit loudly, and you can hear it live in 4K. Stu's GoFundMe is like 200,000 plus right now. It's a whole lot. Wrestlers came out. I saw Chris Jericho donated. Mr. Beast donated. It is nice to see a lot of positivity and love outpour from this heinous situation. And you know, Stu is up with his family. He's getting better again. It gets worse when you realize that not only he apologized, but this is someone who served our country, and he was totally just left to a bloody pulp from his friends, colluding on him, saying they won't talk to the cops. Then I saw some pro wrestlers come out. Oh man, I saw pro wrestlers come out. RVD is just doing this shit for fucking clout at this rate. You are the whole fucked up show at this rate. RVD is a fucking clown at this rate, saying, well, you know, I saw some people saying, fuck around and find out. Come on, man. Come on. It's fuck around and find out. Or FAFO. Fuck around and find out. Like, what? This was after the fact, after apology. After an apology has long been accepted, and this person's unconscious, not even able to defend themselves. What? Again, I can see if it was during the Can incident. I don't condone racism to Rampage. I would say it's more of a issue of his parenting than anything else, and failing Raja and Raja failing himself. And then people coming out to defend him. Mark Henry, RVD, all these wrestlers with shit takes so far. There's been wrestlers with good takes. Don't get me wrong, there's been some with good takes, some with iffy takes, and then some with absolutely dumb shit takes. Like, well, you know, it was Stu's fault or whatever. They try to, you know, pin the blame. Yes, some blame can go upon Syko Stu for not informing Raja of the hits, but after the apology, it's all thrown out the window. All right, it's thrown out the window. What do you guys like? Condone the guy being murdered? It sounds like it. It sounds like it to me. You know, if it was you laying there in that very spot, all beaten, and you're partially halfway to death, would you have the same opinion? I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna put it into perspective. Will you have the same thought process, the same opinion? No, because it's happening to you. Yeah. It's happening right the fuck to you. And I guarantee you, if this was RVD, if this was Mr. Monday Night, if this was RVD 420 or fucking Mark Henry and they were laying up in a hospital, the first words they would say on their podcast after all their missing teeth is gone, they would say, oh, this is messed up. You know, he blindsided me. All this other, they would try to be so sympathetic to themselves because it happened to them. This is why I like Stevie Richards' take. You know, this is all about not only seeing that a heinous animal got into the ring, but this is also about protecting others, your friends, what is allegedly your family, the people in the business, so incidents like this can continue to not happen ever again in the future. You have to be aware. You have to be vigilant. And this is why so many people, and I said this before, I said this at the tail end of my kick video. This is why I'm glad so many people are putting a highlight on this situation, because it not only shook up the wrestling world, it's shaking up social media, and it shakes up the MMA world. Like, everyone is in on talking about this and spreading their awareness and condemning Jackson, for the few supporters that he has that sucks fucking cock, most people, the majority, are saying, yeah, it shouldn't have escalated to this situation, and that's where I agree. That's where I sit. So I got some money and I donated to Syko Stu, and a friend from the EU also jumped in. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for jumping in and playing a part, and just trying to help this man get back to a normal life, because it was almost taken from him. Man with kids served our country in the United States, and now this shit happened. This is probably the most passionate I've gotten on the video, but I really do care about professional wrestling. And even whether it's an indie show, whether it's a large show, nothing like this should happen. Nothing. You should feel safe. I know wrestling, they say, oh, it's fake or whatever. The damage can be real. And this one was a step across that line where the damage should have not even happened in the first place, because this guy was an irrational monster at play. And it makes you think, it makes you open up, it makes you talk, and it makes you realize it could be an indie show, big show, whatever. This type of behavior, these types of situations, even if they are rare, it needs to end. No more of this. If a fan runs in there, beat his ass. I don't like. That's what wrestlers been doing. Like, a fan runs the fuck in there, they beat him completely up, and it's like, don't do that again. Stop it. You're gonna hurt somebody. You're not part of the work. You're not part of the kayfabe. You're not part of the experience. Stop. Just stop allowing behavior like this, unless the person knows the spot and they clearly are in on it, and they don't have all this irrationality behind them. Stop doing this. Stop letting these outsiders into the ring, please. Because it's only gonna get worse if other people want to imitate. I already saw a flyer of some wrestling firm or whatever. I know it's fake, but they had a flyer up that said they're gonna have Raja Jackson as a guest. We already have clout chasers on this motherfucking bullshit. We already have them. This is what I'm talking about. Disgraceful behavior at its finest. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? You are just as bad as Nox Pro, the people who are burying this situation under the rug. Now you want your little bit of fake clout. You want your little bit of fake attention. Fuck you too. That's what I think. Lastly, Rampage, you need to let... It's like a other YouTuber said, you need to let your son go lay down for a while. Which is, stop defending it. Stop putting up bail money. Let him lay with his consequences, and let him sleep in a cell with Bubba, alright? He needs to go lay down in there. Something might happen to him in terms of get beat the fuck up, but I mean, he's a tough guy, right? As you proclaimed, he don't fuck with him, so he needs to fuck with someone like 10 times his size in a federal penitentiary, and that needs to happen. He needs a hard slice of reality under lockdown for many, many years to come. I don't know what sentence I would give him. I mean, he tried to kill someone, so I guess as my plastic fork breaks, maybe 25 to life. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that is attempted murder, so you need to throw the book at him for a bit and let him realize the weights and severity and the actions of his consequences. A lot of this is just disgusting. And thank God for the people that came forward and decided to say, fuck this, I'm gonna let my voice be heard. Fuck Mark Henry, fuck RVD, who smells like weed, shit, and piss straight out of a hobo brewery. Alright? Fucking weed smelling piece of garbage. When Maven said you stink, you know it was true, and you got your feelings, and it's like, I'm gonna walk on down to the bum dispensary, motherfucker. I'm gonna just walk down there, smelling like 8 miles of manure. All right, this dude needs to get off the stage. You wanted your clout too. Fuck you. Anyway, Stu's GoFundMe is in the description below. Let's do something positive. Let's get this man the help that he needs. I did my part. If you want to do yours, that's fine. Or spread awareness, that's totally fine as well. I would thoroughly appreciate it. And once again, I hope Stu gets better. And thank you to Doug as well for saving this man's life when virtually no one else outside of the 17-year-old would. I'm Renegade Operative. I'm signing out. And let's put one in the basketball hoop for justice. I'll see you guys next time. Later.